Hi class, this is your professor Kendra Crow, and I wanted to put together a little something here today to better explain to you the part two of these discussion boards. I know this is very new, and if you didn't take Literature 201, I'm sure you've never seen something like this for a SNU course. So what I wanted to do was to walk you through an example of how to complete a part two for a discussion board. I just want to make sure everybody's clear on it, and I'm going to be using an example from a previous course that I've taught for this, for Literature 202, and I will explain fully how to go about constructing your part two of this assignment. So, as you can see, I've pulled up the discussion board. It's the same as what you have this week. So for here, it's part one, which was due last week. You were to respond to this question about traditions, and you were supposed to cite from the texts for week two. So here, part two is due at the end of week three, so on Sunday, and what you need to do is you need to respond to a classmate. Actually, you'll do this twice, so eventually it'll be a total of 2 classmates. I will show you how to respond to one of those classmates by responding to their post about the week 2 assignments, and you will be also responding to this prompt, so this part 2 prompt, and I'll go ahead and read that. So you'll be responding to what your classmate has written about week 2, and you'll also be responding to this. So it says, the interaction with tradition shapes how we view that character. This week, respond to 2 of your classmates' discussion posts on the meaning of tradition by providing examples from this week, so week 3's readings, on privilege that support or contradict their arguments. How does the narrator's or main character's view of tradition in Punishment or Notebook of the Return to the Native Land shape our understanding of who they are? Is tradition something that is supported by privileged individuals or by underprivileged individuals? How can you tell? Include at least 2 citations from the reading to support your reasoning. So again, what you do is you respond to 2 of your classmates. You actually respond to what they had said, and then in order to support that response that you're giving, you will be supporting it with the week 3 reading. So this is what it would look like. I'm going to go into the discussion board, and here I've got example of how to complete part 2. I will click on that. So here, this is an example of a part 1 that one of your classmates has written. So in all 3 of this week's readings, tradition means pain and suffering for the individual. Therefore, I think all 3 works view tradition as a negative thing. And then she goes on and she explains how she feels that it's negative in all 3 of the works. Okay. She's got good citations. She's spoken or she's written about each of the 3 texts, and she's used several citations. You have to have a minimum of 2. She responded to more. So I will go ahead and, so this is how I would complete my part 2. I would hit reply, and then this is what I would write. I have it all set here. Let me open up the screen a little bit more so we can see the whole thing. Okay, so this is what a student had written in a previous term. It says, great point, Sally. I'm especially struck by Oseki's words in the 13th Night regarding her suffering and her feeling that she can't go on another day. So this is how this Todd has responded to his classmates. So he said, great points, and this is one thing that kind of stuck out to me. And he quotes from her what she was saying about, or he gives an example of what she was saying about the 13th night. This is a poignant statement, and I think we can draw a parallel between her feelings and those of Chandra in Punishment, who would rather die than continue the suffering she is enduring as a woman trapped in a patriarchal society. In fact, at one point, her words echo Aseki's almost verbatim when she tells the judge regarding her death sentence, "Do what you like, I can't take anymore." And then he quotes that, or he puts a citation for that quote. It is clear in both of these stories that tradition would be something more likely to be supported by the privileged class, in this case, the men of the story's respective societies. We see this too in Notebook of a Return to a Native Land, as the privileged members of society, in this case, slave-owning white men, attempt to justify this tradition by saying that the Spirit of the Lord was in its acts. Cesar 3:11. And then he gives his works cited at the end. So this would be an example of a very well done part 2 discussion board post. So he's responded to the classmate, and he's used the week 2 texts to support what he is saying about privilege as it relates to tradition. So I hope that helps kind of give you a better understanding of how to complete the part 2. So you're not just responding to what your classmates have said about tradition and just, giving a response about those texts. You also need to include the week 3 texts. And you also need to include citations. Now, citations could be a paraphrase of the texts, but also include your in-text citation behind the paraphrased phrases or quotes. And I do like quotes because that's a really good habit to get into. I like to see quotes in your final papers. So, you might as well start using them and learn how to use them in your discussion boards each week as well. So the 3 things you really need to do for the part 2 is you need to respond to the original poster, you need to respond to the part 2 prompt, and you need to use citations that are cited properly. So I hope that clears it all up. And once you're done, don't forget to hit submit. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. And please feel free to email me if you have any questions regarding this, further questions regarding this. Thank you.